Great. So this will be fun tonight. I'm excited. All right, we'll just give everybody a moment to join us. Thanks so much for joining us for QASIG tonight. We have Mike Lyles here, and we will talk a little bit more about this in a minute. We'll just give everyone a minute or two to join. I think it's been probably about a year and a half since we had you speak with us, right?
Yeah.
Mike? Yeah.
I was looking at, looks like it was January 2021.
Yeah. And that was about conversations we shouldn't still have to have as QA people, right?
That became, you guys got to see the very first of that talk when that became like the hottest talk that I've ever done in my speaking career. I ended up doing that talk dozens of times all the way through. It was like the most popular one. And I just did it last week in DC as an opening keynote for InflectorCon. I've added a lot of stuff to it, kind of make it new every time, but it's been a really popular talk. I think people relate to it very well.
Yeah, well, for sure. I know that it was one of our popular ones too, so everyone really enjoyed it. All right, well, since it is 6:02, we will kick off and get things started. And I will turn it over to Joe, who is our SIG leader, and he will introduce our speaker for tonight. So off to you.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for joining in. And it's been such a cool event for the last 21 years. And for those who are regulars, thanks for being part of the community. And those who are new, welcome for sure. As you can see from the screen, the topic of tonight's talk is significance over success. And I'll leave, it's by Mike Lyles. And I'll leave his introduction and background and kind of overview to him. And I'm going to sign off the screen, but I'll be back at the end. And so I hope you enjoy it.
He's ready for me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Off to you.
Take it away, Mike.
All right. Well, I am so glad to be here. For those of you that came and you're like, hey, I want to hear a testing guy talk, I'm that guy. But I'm going to hear talk about testing. I'm not that guy today, but I've done a lot of talking about testing over the years. But I think you're going to enjoy this. I think this one hopefully is going to make you think before you leave today and tonight. And I want to give you some things that make you say, wow, that's really thought provoking. And hopefully you'll leave here through the course of the things I'm going to tell you about what has happened in my life in the last year or two and through the course of my career. I think you're going to see you might have one of those moments as well. So I used this with a keynote that I did for an event 3 weeks ago. And I said, it's great to be here and be somewhere with pants on because of COVID and the virtual conferences. A lot of people weren't wearing their full attire. I did put on everything today. But I saw just on social media this week, just today, people were having a joke at work. They were saying, wear what you used to wear during Zoom calls. So people were in ties and coats and shirts and then shorts and flip flops. So, but it's fun to joke about, but I mean, we went through an interesting time in their lives and we made it through it, hopefully. We'll see, but we learned a lot from that. We all know that. But the big thing I want to tell you, not the big thing, is I'll tell you first a little bit about me. If you haven't met me before and you don't know who I am, I've simplified it for those of you that's heard me talk before. I used to have this big giant screen with me standing in a drive-through window of an Arby's, and a whole lot of things about all the things I've done through my career. I've kind of simplified that to I've been in IT since '93. And there's probably some of you on the call today that on the webinar today that weren't even born then. So yes, I'm that old. But I've done a lot of things through that career. I was a developer for many years. I got into project management. I did PMO. I fell in love with QA around 2005, and I did QA for some part of QA for the next 17 years. So it's really been something I've loved, and it's really something that I feel is a passion and companies need. I started speaking at events in 2011, and through the course of the next 10 years, I spoke at, hundreds of events in dozens of countries. And then COVID hit, and I did 31 conferences virtually in 2020. But it's starting to pick back up. But also wrote a book. The book was called The Drive-Thru Is Not Always Faster. That book came out in November 2019, and then COVID came, and the drive-thru was the only way to get things. So the book didn't do too well. Joking. I do say that my second book's going to be called Curbside's No Faster, but that's just a joke. But one of the things I did last year that I really changed me, and I really felt was something that was a passion that I wanted to do, is I got involved with John Maxwell team and got certified as a coach and a speaker and a trainer with the John Maxwell team. At that time, it was called the John Maxwell team, and now it's called Maxwell Leadership Certified Team. But I did a lot of training and got certified in that. I thought that's where my career is going to go. I'm going to take my 29 years in IT, and I'm going to step out and start coaching and training, and teaching people on leadership values and things like that. But sometimes you're never prepared for what door is going to open in front of you. And for me, I had a door open about a month ago where I found out that the John Maxwell company had an opening for an IT director, and I took that chance and got the job. And I can't even begin to tell you the story that got me to there, but I'll just tell you I'm blessed that it happened. I've been in that role for 2.5 weeks. Absolutely love it. I'm actually providing services, and I put it on my LinkedIn that I'm providing services for people who are changing the world literally with what they do with values-based leadership for the Maxwell company. But there's thousands of coaches and thousands of people that use his products and his books. And so I feel like I'm making a difference now, and it's something that I always wanted to do in my career. But enough about me. I've spent 4 minutes telling you all of that, and we're going to talk about you now, and we're going to talk about significance over success. And so our agenda for today, the first thing is, what does success mean to you? And the second thing is, what does significance mean to you? And then lastly, putting that significance over success, and how do you do that? And this is where it gets fun, because everybody has a different definition of things. Because when I talk about success, and you've heard the term, it's not new to you, but you've got an idea of what that means. When you hear somebody say success, you start thinking of things in your head. And when you do that, do you know when you've seen it? Do you know what success looks like when you've seen it? That we talk about the wind, and we say, I can feel the wind and I can tell when it's windy, but I can't see wind. I think it's kind of similar with success. And when you're looking at how do you gauge success and understand what success is, it might be different for different people. So when they ask you, what does it mean to you? You're probably thinking of things like money, right? Successful people, Elon Musk, richest man in the world. Is it about money? Is it about fame? Is it about being someone that's so famous that you can't go out anywhere and without everybody noticing you? Is it about a major accomplishment, something that you did and that you've done in life? And I think it's interesting on the major accomplishment, because I see statistics out there and people talk about the fact that a lot of people, when they do really great things, they kind of stop and they don't continue to do more great things. Like Nobel Peace Prize people, don't continue to win more awards and things. They kind of stop. I've made it to where I want to be. We're going to talk about that a little bit tonight as well. Job title. I remember when I started in my career in 93, I said, I want to be a CIO. I want to be a CEO, one of the C-level people. And now it's different, and then to me, success is a whole different thing now than it was back then. But it might be recognition. It might be, you want to do this, and to you, being successful is being somebody that people call out. I'm in the papers, I'm in the news, I'm and people are talking about me. Maybe that's success to you. But, the thing about success, I think, is that it's temporary. And if you haven't seen the TurboTax commercial where the guy here is standing, looking at his phone, and he says, "I'm a millionaire." And then, a few seconds later, he's at a club and everybody's dancing around him. And he's like, "I'm not a millionaire." And the music stops and everybody leaves him and he looks sad. And then he's in a desk job sitting there working in this office. And he's like, "I'm a millionaire." And he starts throwing his stuff in the trash and like he's going to walk away. And then he looks again and he's like, "I'm not a millionaire." It's a funny commercial, but it really shows and really personifies that success is temporary, right? And you might be a millionaire today, you might not be a millionaire tomorrow. What's successful, um, you know, is to you today might not be the same thing tomorrow. And being successful today doesn't mean you'll be successful tomorrow. It's kind of like brushing your teeth, right? It's temporary, and there's no plateau, right? You can't say, "Well, I brushed my teeth today, so I'm done. I don't have to do it tomorrow or the next day." It's an everyday thing. It's a moving target, and to be really successful, you have to, continue to do good things. You might make a ton of money, you might really do a lot of big things, and you might be, settled for years and years. But to really understand success, it's kind of an ongoing thing every day. And like this guy, it takes on different forms. I wouldn't brush my teeth that way, but he chose to. And success for me might be different than success for you. But when we talk about significance, what does significance mean to you, and how do you define significance in your life, and and what you think of when I ask you what is significance? I decided to go out and look at the dictionary for this, right? And the two that came up in the dictionary was the quality of being worthy of attention and importance, and the meaning to be found in words or events. And neither of those really meant what I was trying to come across with when I'm talking about significance over success, or even that word significance with that term. What I was really looking for when I was thinking about the significance in that context was, what are you doing to help other people? How are you helping other people get to the top? How are you helping them get where you are, or helping them grow, or picking them up like this person is on the hill here? Or what is your purpose? Have you thought about what things are important to you, and or your why? A lot of people talk about, why am I doing this? Why do I do this every day? And I asked that to a lot of people. And when I asked them why you're doing this job, sometimes they don't have an answer. Or why are you doing this certain thing in your life or your career? They don't always have an answer. And I think sometimes it makes people think, why am I doing this? What am I doing? What I really feel is my values, my mission, and my vision. And am I really taking the right steps, with my life and my career? So the question is, have you clearly seen what significance means to you? And have you defined that in your life? I'm not here to say everybody stop and write it down, but I think it's good for us to think about those things, because, and it changes. I'll tell you that it will change. It changed for me. The Mike 29 years ago, 30 years ago is different than the Mike yesterday and today. But I think we grow. And I think we'll talk about that a little bit in some of the things I'll show you. I think you first have to open up this door, and then let that door take you to the next door and the next door. And then you just keep building upon it, because do what you can today to get you to that next step so you can do even more tomorrow. So when you think about significance for you, it might be about the environment, right? Some people think a lot about, how can I improve the environment? How can I be considerate of the environment and things I can do there? It might be about religion. It might be about serving others, or influencing others and making a difference in people's lives. Could be any of those. But transformation is the one that really stands out to me, because transformation is a powerful word, which means you are not who you used to be. And I feel like, I've heard this word used in multiple places. John Maxwell uses it a lot. These tables that I'm going to talk about in a little bit it's transformation tables, because there is a change in you and others. And so I feel like, to know what your significance is and know what significance means to you, you are understanding what is transformation for you. Because I've had those situations in my life where I did something and the outcome was I felt transformed in that process. And it's not a one-time thing. It's not a one day thing, or you do it and then you got that one transformation and you're done, right? It could be multiple situations in your life, but looking for that transformation, I think, is a powerful thing to understand what is significance to you. And then it could be something else, right? And I'm not sitting here saying that these are the only, 5 things that you could be thinking of. Importance, understanding significance, and being a person of significance. It really is defined by you, not by me. But it comes down to what matters to you. At the end of the day, what really matters to you, and really understanding what matters to the world. And if you don't know what matters to the world, just, go to social media. They'll tell you. Everybody's going to tell you there. You see a lot of different opinions and different values. But I've learned a lot from watching people, and without being judgmental. I think if we listen with an empathetic heart, and we listen to understand before we try to be understood, I think, it goes back to Stephen Covey's seek first to understand, then to be understood, which I could go off on a tangent and talk about that forever. As testers, we have to do that. But I think it's understanding other people, and it sometimes helps you understand you in the process. The question is, who defines it? And really, what does it mean to have significance? What does it mean to you? And it really makes me think about a quote that John Maxwell has, which was really the spark that made me think of this presentation and the title of the presentation. And that is, once you've tasted significance, success will never satisfy you. And it's a powerful message, right? I mean, if you think about it this way, a lot of people spend their lives thinking about, I got to be a millionaire, right? I've got to be a C-level leader in the organization. I've got to own my company or this company. I've got to drive 2 cars and have 3 houses, and that's success. But when you do something that really, and you get to be part of something that's a significance, and then you'll realize that success is great. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to say, hey, go out there and change the world, be part of something innovative, and live in a box on the street. I'm not saying that. We need to still be successful, and they're not interchangeable where you can only have one or the other. But I'm thinking, if you get significance, success will come. And that's one of the things that I've been teaching. It's one of the things that John's been teaching for 50 years. It's just, it's a good practice. But today we're going to talk about 5 things, only 5, that you can do today, that you can start doing today, that'll help you place significance over success. And they're real simple because I put them together, so they're going to be really simple. But the first one is be amazing. And it's a play on words, but it's really about starting at the end and beginning with the end in mind. And I'll show you what I mean by that. As I was thinking about this talk about 2 or 3 months ago, my daughter says to me, Dad, she's 14, and she was going through this these books, crossword books, these big books with they have crosswords and puzzles and mazes and other stuff in there. And she said, one of the things I noticed, that if I start at the end, I mean at the beginning here, and I go through this maze, I may run into a wall, I may run into a dead end, and I don't know how to really reach the center of this maze. But if I start in the middle where the end point is, I can back myself out and find the way to get out of this maze. And it got me thinking. It's a perfect first suggestion for significance over success is that you, to define this in your life, you have to define, to begin with the end in mind. And obviously, I didn't make up that quote myself. That was created by Stephen Covey, and it's one of his 7 habits of highly effective people. And I thought it was funny that it wasn't habit 1; it was habit 2. But it is begin with the end in mind and start, knowing where you're at. And the key thing here is that you may not have all of the answers about how do you get to that end, but you know where you want it to be, right? I know that I want to end in Florida at the end of this trip. Now, you may take 50 different roads differently than I would take to get there, but that's where you want to end up. If you're thinking about significance for you and things that you want to accomplish or things that you want to do that are of value to you, you can say, this is what I want to do. And then you can decide the path to get there. So you just remember that you don't have to have all the answers to get there. You do have to know, it helps to know where you're going and what you're going to do at the end. Number 2 is remember it's not about you. And so it's not about look at me or see what we did. I see a lot of people on social media, a lot of videos on social media out there that show people walking up to people and handing them food or giving them money. And I think it's great. I mean, obviously I love to give food and money and donations and help people in need, but why do you have to record yourself and do that on social media, right? I mean, if you're giving $10 to a homeless person or $100 to a homeless person, that's great. But why are you recording it? Who are you doing it for? Because it's not about you. And there's a book out there, if you haven't read it, it's called The Purpose-Driven Life. It's written by Rick Warren. And he's got a lot of different things within the purpose-driven life. But the first section of those 6 says, it's not about you. It's the first 4 words of the book. And I think it's a powerful message. It's a powerful book. If you haven't read it, I strongly suggest you to check it out, because it really makes you think, what is important to me, and what is my purpose? What am I here for? And then another quote by John, which is very similar, but takes it another step, is success is something that comes to you, but significance is something that comes through you for others. So to be significant, success, you can do it all day, right? I can sell stuff. I can build stuff. I can be an entrepreneur, and I can make things very successful for me. But if I want to be significant and I want to make a significant impact, then it has to go through me to help others. And it's about other people, which takes me to something that I've been part of for almost a year now, and it's Change Your World tables. And I realized how to impact my world by doing these transformation tables. And it was really focused on values-based discussions. So what you do is you get together a small group of people, it may be 8 people, 6 people, 10 people, but you get together for 6 weeks. And it sounds like a long time. So let me be clear. You meet 1 time a week for 6 weeks, and you meet for 1 hour with those people. And what you do is you go through a really small exercise. It's a free group, and it's called Change Your World. And you talk about values. It's hope, listening, valuing every person, integrity, forgiveness, and then multiplication. And what I love about these 6 different tables is each person goes through an exercise and talks about, you read, there's like a 2-page reading with the group. I've always done this on Zoom, but once COVID fully is clear and out of our lives forever, I think people will get back to doing these in person. But getting in a small gathering, you can do it anywhere, but you sit around and you talk about, what does hope mean to you? How would you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 on hope, right? Or listening. Let's do listening. How would you rate yourself 1 to 10 on listening? Are you a good listener or a bad listener? Why did you give yourself that rating? Who do you know that really does this quality well? And what could you do to make yourself, what actions can you take today to improve your value or your number that you gave yourself on this value? It sounds really simple, and it is, but it does change your world, and it changes how you think, because you're not only talking with other people, it's kind of like a support group, but they're talking to you and you're getting to know each other, but you're also learning things from them. So the last thing I'll say on that is I did this with the John Maxwell team as we went to the Dominican Republic, and they did these tables. They've done this in Guatemala and Paraguay and Costa Rica. And when they did this in November of 2021 with the Dominican Republic, 200 of us went there, and we trained 25,000 facilitators on how to do these change your world tables. And then those people are going to turn around and do tables of 5, 10, 12 people. And we expected this to multiply until, millions of people have been given this change your world process. And I will say this, and we'll talk about it at the end of the talk, but there's a Change Your World Summit that's coming out next Thursday that you may want to sign up for if you're interested and this interests you. But like I said, it's all free. There's nothing that I can charge you for. If you did it with me, you can do it online at changeyourworld.com. But it's an amazing little process that came from a book that John Maxwell wrote 2 years ago. But people are really, their lives are turning on it. So you might want to check it out. Number 3, find something you believe in. Now, we talked about what you believe significance is, but look around you. What are you passionate about? What moves you emotionally? What are you for? There's a guy named Jeff Henderson who wrote a book. It's a really neat book that came out about a year or two ago called Know What You're For. And he talks about understanding what are you really, what is your purpose? What are you here for? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish? You've probably seen this if you've heard any of my other talks. Simon Sinek is a great writer and author as well, talks about the golden circle, and he talks about how that traditional conventional companies or people will think from the outside in. They think about what they do and how they do it, and then sometimes why. But very few people, the remarkable people, start from the inside out, and they start with why. And so the saying here is that every single person knows what they do. Some people know how they do it, but very few people know why. If you want to have fun with somebody, ask them what they do, and they'll say, I do this for a living. And you're like, why do you do that? And they might not know the answer. Now I touched on that a little bit earlier, but try that out with some people that some strangers that you meet. Hey, what do you do? And they're like, here's what I do. I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a nurse, I'm a tester, I'm a developer. Why do you do that? And see what they say. You'll be surprised in how they respond. But Simon says, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And I think a lot of companies, whether you like Apple or not, Apple, I think, gets themselves selected by a lot of people by saying, we are Apple Computer, and this is what we do. And the products that Apple sells is because people believe in their why and what their purpose is. It's not about just being an electronics company, or it's, soft drink companies, or different things that you can buy out there. You usually buy why people do it. You don't buy what they do. But I would challenge each of you right now. Think of 5 people that you would never want to break a promise to. So I'll give you a second to think about that. People you never want to let down, and who you'd always see the good in you. Think of 5 people, your parents, your family, your kids, who are those 5 people? And what makes you say that you don't want to break the promise to them or let them down? But before you get too far, did you remember to put yourself on that list? Now, I didn't make up this quote. I heard somebody say it just a month ago, and it blew my mind, and it made me think, because I wasn't writing my name down when they asked me that. I was putting down my kids, my family, my parents, different folks. But when I thought about it, if you're trying to, think about something you believe in, and you're thinking about number 3 here is, find something you believe in. You first have to believe in yourself, and you have to believe that, what you want to do is really the direction that you want to take and the things that you want to do to be significant and to make a difference. I'll give you an example. Patagonia and Allbirds, 2 great products, 2 great companies that, decided to map their significance into their mission and their values. I don't wear a lot of Patagonia, but I do wear a lot of Allbirds. If you haven't tried Allbirds shoes, I highly recommend them. I'm wearing a pair right now, but they're amazing. And what I like about these folks is they built that into their company. Their focus on the environment, their focus on, implementing better products they're more sustainable. That's part of their build of their product. It's not to be confused with giving back. There's a lot of companies that'll say, hey, we made $1 million this year, we're going to give $100,000 to charity. That's good. Don't stop doing that. We don't want companies to stop doing that. But what companies like Patagonia and Allbirds did is they built it in. And, we can all give back after success, and that's good. But this is about your purpose and your significance and what you want to do. So ask yourself, what's your why? That's number 3. And number 4, of 5, we're almost there. Get others to believe also. And that's tough, right? It's easy for you to decide where you want to go eat. It's hard for you to get everybody else in the house to decide they want to eat the same thing. It's really hard for me because nobody likes the same food as me. I eat a lot of stuff, but sometimes I'll want a certain type of food and nobody in my family wants to go there, right? Or maybe one of my kids does and the other one doesn't, or my wife does and they don't. So you have to understand how to get common ground with people to make that connection, because that's where everybody's needs, beliefs, and values intersect. And if you really want to take people with you on the journey and get them to believe in what you believe in and to see things, you need to find something that you all believe in and really find out where your values intersecting. Yes, I talk a lot about John, and I warned you, but he has a book called Everyone Communicates, Few Connect. You don't have to buy it. I'm here to tell you a little bit about it, and hopefully that'll help you. But it's an amazing concept around the fact that you've all been there, right? If I don't make a good connection with you when I'm talking to you, you're done with me in the first few minutes, right? If I make a really good connection with you and I can say things that really appeal to you and get common ground with you, you could listen to me for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. But you've all been there. You've watched people and you're like, I'm done with this person. They're 2 minutes in. I'm so bored. I'm done. Because connecting increases your influence in every situation, right? And leadership is influence, but influence depends on our ability to connect with people. And that's a powerful thing. And if you're like me, I used to be, you may think that influence is about impressing people, but it's really about connecting with them. And when you connect with them, it's not a logical thing. We logical people, we're testers, we're logical. It's more about emotional. Because if you really want to connect with people, it's about getting that bond with them. And if you want to carry somebody, whatever it is, you want people to believe the same as you on the work that you're doing. You want somebody to believe a vision you have for your organization, that testing is going to, improve if we do this. The easiest way is to get them to connect with you and to build that connection. Because we know that leadership is about others, right? Being a great leader is looking at your people and helping them, but so is connecting. And when I think about connecting, it comes down to 3 questions that comes from this Everyone Communicates, Few Connect. And those 3 questions are this. And you're asking this question and you don't know it. When you came here today, you're asking these 3 questions of me subconsciously, even if you didn't think of these 3 questions. And that is, do you care for me? Which I do. Can I trust you? Which you can. And can you help me? And I think I can. So if you can answer those 3 questions with a yes, with anybody you're connecting with, you are going to have a connection and you are going to be able to influence those people. They are going to be able to interact with you. If you're trying to sell something, if they believe those 3 questions to be yes from you, they'll buy it. If you're working with people and you get them to answer these 3 questions as yes about you, you're going to find that you're going to be able to work with those people really well. If you're working for a boss that makes you say yes to these 3 questions about them, you're probably enjoying your job. Those 3 questions are powerful connecting questions. And the last one, number 5, is scale up the vision. There's a book called The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, and it talks about the law of the rubber band. I've been playing with this over here on the side the whole time. I should have never caught away. But the law of the rubber band says this: growth stops when tension between where you are and where you could be. Like, a rubber band is totally useless unless you're stretching it, right? If I'm just hanging it here, it's not giving me any value. If I'm laying it down, it's not giving me any value. A rubber band is only good if I'm stretching it and trying to expand the use of that rubber band. And it only adds value to me if I've got it stretched to hold something together, or to hold, to use that rubber band, I have to stretch it. So the big thing is, I'm going to skip a couple slides here. It's easy to be average. There are lots of people that are average. You can find them everywhere, and they've given up. They don't think they can, but I'm sorry. You came here to hear me. You got a talk that was not really about testing, but it was about significance over success and finding your values and thinking about what's important to you. So I'm not going to let you leave here being average, because we don't want to be. You're better than that. And really the last thing I'll say there, is we're getting near closing up, is the only guarantee that tomorrow will be better is if you're growing today. And I ask this to people when I interview them, and it's one of my favorite interview questions. So if you're interviewing in a job with me, no matter what the title or what the role, I'm going to say, what do you do when you're not at work that you think helps you in your career or your role or your skills that might help you in work? And it doesn't matter. I'm not asking you to go listen to webinars or to read books or take online courses or anything like that. I just want to hear what people do, because I want to understand how they think about their growth and their, what things they do. It might be I walk, or I run, or I swim, and I use that to think about how I test, right? I mean, there's all kinds of ways that you can do that. But remember this, that sometimes, scaling up that vision is going through doors that you're not sure about. Steve Jobs had the statement, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. I'm a perfect example of that. Like I said, 3 months ago, I would have told you that I was setting my path to retire from IT, go into a speaking, coaching, training career. And then one door opens and another door opens, and I'm offered the opportunity to be the IT director for what I consider as one of the most powerful, amazing companies in the world, to help one of the largest leadership, people in the planet. And I would have never thought that that's where I would be. And so what I would challenge you is, go through the door that you see in front of you today, because that door could take you to the next door that's going to really change. This door is going to happen for me. And as I told them when I joined the John Maxwell team, I said, I didn't know I was coming here. And now I want to see where this takes me next. And what does that do for me? And that's what I'm going to continue to try doing for the rest of my life. So last thing here, significance over success. We've got a heart here and we've got money. And the way I see this is, if you put the weight on significance and the heart comes down, the money will start rolling down there to you. And like I said, it's not about being poor, but doing great things. We're not asking you to sell everything you've got and give it away. What I'm saying is, success will come, but focus on significance and that we can make a difference. And the part I love about this is, it doesn't matter whether you're a banker or a cook or work in a restaurant or own a business, or you're a software tester or you're a developer, manager, whatever your role, you can make a difference regardless of what you're doing in your day job, just by looking at where you want to make an impact and how can you make that impact. It could be in your company, it could be in your community, could be, all over the world. And I just wanted to share those with you and give you my thoughts. And with that, I'll turn it over. And if there's any questions or anything, I will let you guys throw them my way.
Yeah, if anybody wants to post a question, then now's the good time to do it.
Yeah. Or comments. Anybody figured out your
one of the things I really miss about not getting together at our facility is the interaction after the talk. It's really cool, and people hang out for half hour, an hour, and have some more pizza and interact in person with our speakers. And I think that tonight would have been a great opportunity to do that.
Yeah, these are fun. These are fun.
Have to fly you a ways, but happy to do that at some point. No, I really appreciated the things that you had to say, and it makes a big difference if you are feeling value and you're feeling like you're getting something out of work besides a paycheck. I mean, I think that
That's a huge difference.
It means something more and more the older you get, I feel like.
Yeah.
One of the cool things about this event that we have every other month is that once in a while we have a presenter who doesn't talk about software testing techniques necessarily, but they bring up something different that's thoughtful. And I think this is one of those special talks that we had. Really, really great, Mike. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, it looks like we don't really have a lot of questions, so I guess you answered everything as you were speaking. And
there's
I think
80 ways to reach me here. If you scan that at the top, that'll come right. That'll come right to me. It'll take you to all my I forgot which site that goes to. I don't remember what that code goes to. So
great.
Somebody did ask, would I be able to share my why? I like that answer. I mean, that question. So it's funny that when I went on the Dominican Republic trip, I knew that I wanted to influence other people, help other people. I knew that when I started speaking at events. I knew that I wanted to coach people and to speak it, to be able to share my stories with people. That's why I wanted to write my book, because I wanted people to hear my stories and take something away from it. But when I went on this transformation trip with the Maxwell team back in November of last year, I was like, hey, I just want to go, and it's a trip to the Dominican Republic. I've never been there. It's going to be a great experience for me. We're going to help people, and these people are going to learn so many great things. But when I got there and I saw the impact that it had on people, I realized that my why really is to help people find theirs. And that wasn't my why a year ago, right? And I didn't think that was my vision. My vision a year ago was to get really good in software testing and to help other people learn from what I did in software testing, so that I could, coach and train and help them. But I really think I love talking to people now after I've done these Change Your World tables in Dominican. And I feel like my why now is to help other people find their why, and to help people feel like that, hey, I'm doing something that at the end of the day, I'm really proud of, that I've accomplished, and that I know what I can do. Because everybody's got a different why, or, some of us have similar whys, but I feel like that, I can help one of you say, you know what, my purpose is to, volunteer at this event, or volunteer at this shelter, or whatever you do. But I feel like my purpose now is two things. I have two whys. I don't know if you can have two, but my two is to help people figure out theirs and to really coach and give them that values-based leadership coaching and training. But to also, with the position that I'm in with the company, is I know that what I'm doing right now is no longer just writing code for a company to sell products or something. It's really to help a company change the world. And John Maxwell's company is doing that with leadership principles and things that we're doing. So I know that every single IT deliverable that we have is going to really, make a significant difference and could impact millions of people all over the planet. So long answer,
that's great.
but a long answer, but that is my why.
Yeah. Yeah, well, if you have any roundtables, get me on your mailing list. I'd love to attend one.
Absolutely.
It's really interesting to talk
Absolutely.
to you. Yeah.
Yeah. If anybody reaches out to me, I started one I did this talk about 3 weeks ago, and I had about 8 people say they wanted to be on a table. I can facilitate it. I can teach each of you how to facilitate one. Then you can go do it. But like I said, it's 1 hour a week. It's for 6 weeks. I usually do them in the evenings, and we work around people's schedules, and we can but it's easy to set up, and we read. It's less than an hour. So if anybody wants to do it, reach out to me. We'd love to start a new table.
Yeah, cool.
Great.
Yeah, because those two questions, success and significance, are really easy for me to answer.
Yeah.
And so I'd love to talk and share and do all that. I'm used to that kind of conversation through some of the groups I've been in, and really, really appreciate your time and your sharing all of your insights.
Well, when they called me last week, I said, this is another door that opens for me that, I want to be part of. Anytime that I get an opportunity to tell this story, to tell any of my stories, I will take it. Especially when it's virtual. It's easy, simple to do, and to get to be part of. And you guys have always really supported me. I've got to do a lot of talks with you, and to get to be part of your program. It's a great deal. You got a lot of great followers. And I'm sure we'll be back soon. Let me know when we're doing one of these in person. I'll try to come out.
Sounds great.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
Well, thank you so much for your time tonight. Really appreciate it.
All right.
All right.
I got it.
All right.
Yeah.
It was just a thank you. Yeah.
Just sign off. Okay.
Yep.
Thanks
So glad
again,
to
Mike.
have them here.
We'll see you soon.
Okay, folks. Have a great one.
Touch.
All right.
Cheers.
Let's see you.